I have a sort of an interesting perspective on Bitcoin. So I've effectively devoted my life now to imposing sanctions on Russian crooks and crooks from around the world through this Magnitsky sanctions program. And Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are a way for bad dictators or criminals to bypass sanctions. And so from my perspective, and I think from the perspective of politicians around the world, they're not going to allow that to happen. They will eventually regulate all cryptocurrencies in the same way as you can't take out more than $10,000 out of the bank without reporting it to the U.S. government. They're not going to allow for people to take $1 million worth of Bitcoin and move it from Russia to Switzerland. That's just not going to happen. And so eventually it's going to be regulated. And as it gets regulated, one of the prime aspects of Bitcoin will disappear, which is this libertarian freedom.
We've seen South Korea step in and look at potentially regulating. Why do you think other governments have been so slow to announce any measures like that?
Just because governments tend to be slow at doing everything. What we've seen over the last 10 years is technologies get ahead of regulation. It's true with Facebook and Twitter and with information. It's true with Bitcoin in terms of money laundering. They will get to it, and when they get to it, it will be extremely tough and devastating and hurt the share price.
What's the rationale for it if the libertarian freedom part is taken out? Then what good is it?
People are talking about ease of transaction, lowering transaction expenses and stuff like that.
I'd be worried if that's the selling point you always hear.
It becomes a temporary currency. I mean, you go into something and then out of something, but use it sort of as part of it.
Can you still only get other cryptocurrency? That's all, you can't really exchange it for dollars.
You could. No, you would be able to.
But it's just hard with fees and everything else. I guess it's still early. We'll see.
I mean, my view is that there's no long-term value for these cryptocurrencies because of government regulation.
Bill,
that's different than worth $1 million of Bitcoin, Bill.
It is indeed, yeah.
Worth $0 or $1 million per coin.
It's binary.
Yeah. If you don't like Russia and you don't like Bitcoin, what are some of the areas where you do think there's a good place for investment?
Well, I mean, as an investor over a 20-year career running the Hermitage Fund, I invested exclusively in emerging markets, and now I exclusively invest in developed markets, namely the United States and Western Europe. I think the markets are pretty frothy at this point. I think that a lot of good news is priced in. I wouldn't be sort of going crazy adding on to positions right now, but I like countries with the rule of law, with property rights, and with good economic fundamentals, and that's where we are with Western Europe and the United States.
Did you just feel like you got burned by going into these emerging markets, thinking that it was going to be a great place to be, and then all of a sudden, rule of law is the thing that matters most?
Well, property rights and rule of law are absolutely essential. Basically, if you don't have that, then at any point they can take everything away, which is what we've seen happen over and over and over again in Russia and other countries.
All right. Well, Bill, we want to thank you very much for being with us today. Always good to see you.
Always good to see you.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.